A late-night call from an unknown number woke me up. "Check your front porch," the voice said. There was a box, no label, no address. Inside, photos of my daughter, taken just hours ago, but she's been missing for 3 years. It was 2:17 a.m. when my phone buzzed. I groggily reached over, squinting at the screen. An unknown number. I hesitated, thumb hovering over the decline button, but something compelled me to answer. "Hello," I croaked, voice thick with sleep. A pause, then a distorted voice, low and urgent. "Check your front porch." Before I could respond, the line went dead. Heart pounding, I threw off the covers and padded to the front door. The porch light flickered as I stepped outside. There, sitting neatly on the welcome mat, was a plain cardboard box. No markings, no address, just there. I glanced around. The street was silent, empty. The usual hum of the city at night was absent, replaced by an eerie stillness. I picked up the box, noting its light weight, and brought it inside. Sitting at the kitchen table, I opened it. Inside were photographs. Dozens of them. My hands trembled as I flipped through them. My daughter, Lily. In each photo, she looked older than when she disappeared, but unmistakably her. She was in various locations, a park bench, a diner booth, a bookstore aisle. All places I recognized from our city. And the timestamps? All from the previous day. But Lily had been missing for 3 years. The morning after the mysterious package arrived, I took the photos to the police. Detective Ramirez, the lead on Lily's case, examined them carefully. "These look recent," he murmured, pointing to a photo of Lily at the local library. "But how is that possible?" "I don't know," I whispered. "But I need to find her." Ramirez nodded. "We'll reopen the case. Start with the locations in these photos." Over the next few days, surveillance footage was reviewed, witnesses interviewed. But Lily was always just out of frame, just missed by minutes. It was as if someone was taunting us. One photo caught my attention. Lily was sitting at a cafe, a red scarf around her neck. In the background, a man stood near the counter, his face partially obscured. I took the photo to the cafe. The barista recognized the man. "That's Tom," she said. "He comes in every morning. Quiet guy." With this lead, the police tracked Tom down. Under questioning, he admitted to seeing Lily. "She comes in sometimes," he said. "Keeps to herself. Always wears that red scarf." "Do you know where she goes after?" Ramirez pressed. Tom hesitated. "There's a shelter on 5th Street. I've seen her around there." The shelter was a modest building, its walls adorned with murals painted by residents. Inside, the atmosphere was warm, welcoming. I showed the director Lily's photo. She nodded. "Yes, she's been here. Goes by Anna. Keeps to herself, but she's kind." "Is she here now?" I asked, heart racing. "She might be in the art room." I walked down the hallway, each step heavier than the last. At the end, the door was ajar. Inside, a girl sat at an easel, painting. "Lily," I whispered. She turned, eyes wide. Tears welled up as she whispered, "Mom." We embraced, years of pain melting away in that moment. Back home, Lily recounted her story. After school that day, she'd been approached by a woman claiming to be a friend of mine, offering a ride home. Trusting, Lily accepted. But instead of home, she was taken to a remote location, held captive by a group involved in human trafficking. Over time, she managed to escape, finding refuge in shelters, changing her name, trying to stay hidden. "I was scared they'd find me," she said. "I didn't know who to trust." The photos? She had no idea who took them. Someone had been watching her. Watching us. The police launched an investigation into the trafficking ring. With Lily's testimony, several arrests were made. The network began to unravel. But the mystery of the photos remained. Who sent them? Why? A week later, another package arrived. Inside was a note. "She was never yours to lose." No fingerprints. No leads. But Lily was home. Safe. And that was all that mattered. Life slowly returned to a semblance of normalcy. Therapy sessions, family dinners, quiet evenings. But the scars remained. Every creak of the floorboards, every unexpected knock, sent shivers down our spines. Yet, amidst the fear, there was hope. Hope that the past was behind us. Hope that the future held healing. And every morning, as the sun rose, I was reminded of the miracle of having my daughter back. No matter the shadows that lingered. Lily had been home for 3 weeks when things started to feel off again. At first, I thought it was just trauma, the kind that lingers in the corners of your mind and sneaks out when you're alone. But this wasn't just in our heads. It was real. It started small. Lights flickering in the middle of the night. The doorbell ringing with no one there. We thought it was the old wiring, maybe even some kids messing around. Then the letters started showing up. No stamps. No return address. Just one word, written in thick black marker. Mine. The first one was slipped under the front door. The second one was in our mailbox. The third one, taped to Lily's bedroom window. We called Detective Ramirez again. He came over, looked at the letters, took them for prints. He stayed longer than usual, walking around the property, checking locks, cameras, and bushes. He sat me down at the kitchen table, his expression serious. "This isn't random. Someone's watching you both. Someone close. These letters aren't just warnings, they're claims." Lily overheard us. She didn't cry. She didn't panic. She just stared, then walked out to the porch and sat down like she'd expected it all along. Later that night, she told me something she hadn't before. There was a man, she said, voice barely audible. When I was taken, he wasn't part of the ring. He was different. He said he saved me, protected me from the others. He kept me in a basement for months, but he never hurt me. He talked to me like I was his daughter. Said my real family gave me up. I stared at her, numb. Did he give a name? No. He never told me. But he said if I left him, he'd find me again. We showed this new info to Ramirez. He nodded slowly. We need to get you both somewhere safe. He could be nearby, watching. We moved into a hotel under a different name. Lily dyed her hair. I got a burner phone. The police increased patrols around our old house. But it didn't help. On our third night at the hotel, the fire alarm went off at 3:08 a.m. Everyone rushed out in panic. In the chaos, I turned around, and Lily was gone. I screamed her name. I searched the hallways, the stairwells, every floor. I found nothing. But taped to our room door was another note. You left me once. Not again. Ramirez came within minutes. He launched a full search. Checked hotel security. On the footage, a man in a baseball cap, sunglasses, and dark clothes is seen entering the back stairwell just before the alarm. Moments later, he walks out the front with Lily unconscious in his arms, her face covered. I felt like I was dying. We were so close. And I lost her again. Ramirez pulled every string he had. An Amber Alert went out. Photos spread fast. But days passed. No sign. Nothing. Until I got a call from a blocked number. I answered instantly. You should have never taken her back, the voice said. Calm. Deep. She was mine first. You just borrowed her. My throat went dry. Where is she? She's safe. With family. I yelled into the phone, begged, threatened, cursed. But he hung up. The next morning, I found another box at the doorstep of the hotel. This time, inside was a lock of Lily's hair. And a USB stick. I plugged it in. There was one video file. It showed Lily sitting in a dimly lit room, tied to a chair. Her face was swollen. One eye nearly shut. But she was alive. Then the camera shifted. A man stepped into view. Late 40s maybe. Long beard. Cold eyes. He put his hand on her shoulder like she was a prized possession. She was always mine, he said into the camera. And I'll never let her go again. That's where it stopped. I showed it to Ramirez. They ran it through facial recognition. Nothing came back. No matches. No identity. Like he didn't exist. But I knew one thing. He was close. And I was going to find him. Even if it killed me. After the video, I couldn't sleep. Couldn't eat. I kept watching it over and over, frame by frame. Studying every shadow, every breath Lily took. Looking for something, anything that could tell me where she was. I noticed something on the fourth day, barely a flicker on the corner of the screen. A small piece of paper stuck to the wall behind her, just behind her right shoulder. The camera angle made it hard to read, but I paused it and zoomed in. It was a flyer. For a gas station. I recognized the logo. It was a rundown chain of stations mostly seen in the rural parts of Missouri and Arkansas. I emailed it to Ramirez. Within hours, they were narrowing the search to stations in the tri-state area. It wasn't a lot, but it was something. That night, another call. Blocked number again. You're clever, the voice said. But you're too late. She's already mine again. Then he said something that made my skin crawl. She calls me dad now. I broke. I told Ramirez I didn't care anymore. I was going to search on my own. He told me not to, but I couldn't sit still. I packed a bag, rented a car, and started driving south. I hit every station that looked like the one from the flyer. Showed the video stills to every clerk, every trucker, every waitress at roadside diners. Most just shook their heads. But in a small town in southern Missouri, one cashier, mid-50s, heavy-set, deep smoker's voice paused when I showed her Lily's face. I've seen her, she said. Came in with some older guy a few days ago. She looked scared. Wouldn't talk. He didn't let her. I asked if they had cameras. She nodded, pulled the footage for me. There she was. Lily. Hair different, darker now, wearing oversized clothes. The man with her had his hand on her back the whole time, guiding her like property. His face turned to the camera once. Same man from the video. Ramirez was on a plane that afternoon. The gas station was miles from any town. No hotels. No hospitals. Just long stretches of country road and rundown farmhouses. We started knocking doors. Most folks weren't helpful. Suspicious of outsiders. But one older man, living alone in a mobile home off a dirt path, looked at the photo and went pale. Heard yelling from the barn down the road a few nights ago, he muttered. Didn't think much of it. Folks mind their business out here. We went to the barn. It looked abandoned from the outside. But inside. Chains, blankets, food wrappers. And in the far corner, another camera. Still blinking red. He'd been watching her. But they were gone. He moved her again. Back at the station, Ramirez made a public statement. Released parts of the video. It went viral. Tips started pouring in. None solid. Until one night, I got an envelope under my motel room door. Inside? A key. And a note. Meet me where it all began. I stared at it for a long time. Where it began. The place Lily was taken. Our old neighborhood. I went back. Parked 2 streets over from our old house and walked through the alley behind her school. It was empty. Quiet. Then I heard it. A girl's voice. Crying. I ran. It wasn't Lily. It was another girl. Maybe 12. Tied to a fence behind the school. There was a note in her hand. Keep chasing shadows, and more will follow. He was mocking me. He had other girls. This wasn't just about Lily anymore. Ramirez said what I was already thinking. He's running something. A bigger operation. He's using Lily as bait. And then, 2 days later, something happened that changed everything. An anonymous tip came into the station. I know who he is, the voice said. His name's not what you think. And he's not working alone. He used to be law enforcement. Everything stopped. A former cop. Someone who knew how to avoid cameras, how to wipe IDs, how to manipulate people. They traced the tip to a burner phone. But the tipster called again, this time with proof off photo. A different one. A younger Lily. Maybe 6 or 7. Sitting on a man's lap. It was him. And the worst part? The photo was taken in our old house. Years before she ever went missing. Lily knew him long before the day she vanished. He had been part of our lives. Someone I trusted. Now everything is under investigation. Ramirez is digging through old files. Former friends. Former coworkers. I'm left with more questions than answers. Who is this man? Why did he target us? And most terrifying of all, how long has he been planning this? I still don't know where Lily is. But I swear, I'm not stopping. He thinks this story belongs to him. He's wrong. It was Ramirez who broke the final piece. He'd been digging through years of old files, his gut telling him we were missing something. Then he called me in, his voice tight. We found something. Or someone. He pulled out a folder with an old group photo. Cops standing together, arms over shoulders. Second from the left, him. The man from the video. The one who took Lily. His name wasn't on file anymore. Erased. But Ramirez found it scratched into a report margin. Earl Maddox. A patrol officer. Quiet. Off the radar. The kicker? He used to date my sister. My stomach dropped. I hadn't talked to my sister, Dana, in over 5 years. We had a falling out after our mom died. Petty arguments. Distance. I never asked about her love life. I never knew she'd been with someone like him. I drove to her house that night. The second I stepped inside, I knew. The way she froze when I said his name. The way her eyes darted to the hallway. Something wasn't right. Where is he? I asked, voice shaking. Dana didn't answer. She just whispered. I didn't know what he was. Not then. She tried to explain. Said she met Earl after she and I stopped speaking. He was sweet at first. Quiet, respectful, but possessive, controlling. When she left him, he threatened her. Then disappeared. A week after, she got a photo in the mail. It was Lily, smiling, at a park. She was 11. He said she was beautiful. Perfect. Said he was going to make her his. You knew. I said, voice barely a whisper. You knew, and you didn't tell me. Dana broke. She dropped to her knees, sobbing, hands in her hair. I thought he was bluffing. I didn't know he actually took her. I swear to God, I didn't know. I wanted to scream. I wanted to hit something. I wanted to believe her. But everything was blurry now. Every memory twisted. Ramirez pulled up as I was walking back to the car. We found his location. A cabin. Abandoned ranger station. Northern Arkansas. We're going in now. We drove through the night. The road was long, winding, trees thick. Signal gone. We arrived just after dawn. The cabin sat at the edge of a dried-up riverbed. Silent. Still. The team moved in fast. Ramirez had his gun drawn. I wasn't supposed to follow. But I did. Inside, it smelled like mold and oil. Old wallpaper peeling. Rotten floorboards. And then Mom? Lily's voice. Hoarse. Weak. I ran toward the sound. She was in the back room, tied to a bed frame. Eyes swollen. Dried blood on her lip. She looked at me like she wasn't sure if I was real. I untied her. Held her. Promised her it was over. But it wasn't. From the shadows, Earl appeared. No gun. Just him, smirking. You don't get to keep her, he said. She belongs to me. You let her go the first time. You don't deserve her. Ramirez shouted at him to freeze. Earl lunged. A shot rang out. Then another. He collapsed. Blood pooled on the floor. Ramirez lowered his weapon, hands shaking. It's done. The hospital was quiet. Lily slept for hours. I sat by her side, staring at her face, every cut and bruise. I kept wondering, what if we'd been a minute later? Ramirez told me later that Earl had been grooming her long before she vanished. He followed her. Watched her at school. Took photos. Even broke into our house once while we were gone. Planted things. My sister wasn't the only one he used to get close to us. A neighbor. A former teacher. People he manipulated into getting close. He was building a life around Lily for years. The idea that he called himself Dad wasn't just sick. It was something he truly believed. When Lily woke up, she didn't say much. She just looked at me. I'm sorry, she whispered. I cried. I held her. Told her she never had to say that again. Dana came to the hospital. She tried to apologize. Lily wouldn't see her. I barely looked at her. There were no right words. Ramirez eventually closed the case. There were more victims connected to Earl. More families. Some didn't get their daughters back. We did. But what we got wasn't the same Lily. Not yet. Therapy began. Slowly. She drew a lot. Wouldn't talk at first. I quit my job. Sold the house. Moved us closer to the coast. Quiet town. New names. Clean slate. Some nights, she wakes up screaming. Some nights, I do. But we're here. Together. I don't forgive my sister. I don't know if I ever will, but I've learned not everything breaks clean. Sometimes it just cracks, and those cracks never really disappear. You just learn to live around them. Sometimes I stare out the window and wonder what would have happened if I hadn't answered that call. But I did. And now I know. No one gets to steal my daughter. Not again. Lily's starting school again in the fall. She picked out her own backpack, bright yellow, with tiny suns all over it. She smiles more now. Not all the way, but enough. I don't know what the future looks like, but I know this, we survived. And for now, that's enough.